It's Mark and Cindy on the radio, 10 to 11 a.m. Well, it's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show. Every day I listen in. We're going to talk about what's going on.
Good morning, Montgomery County, and thank you, Jared, for that theme song.
Oh, that Jared is so good. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you here to the Mark and Cindy Show on Martin Luther King Day. I noticed there is no apparent jury going on in town.
In Conroe.
I mistakenly, like an idiot, I went out this morning and put, the mail in the slot like there was going to be mail today. There is
no
not.
Mail, man. It's federal holiday today.
And we have got so much stuff to talk about. In fact, what's our topic today?
What in the world is going on is what we're going to talk about, and football.
Oh, yeah, football.
We have to talk about football, and that's got to be right up there. I'm also going to talk about Jim McIngvale, which is better known as Mattress Mac, and an interview I listened to that was very interesting and very telling about him.
Okay.
And then, Apple's having to do a lot of payback.
Ooh, Apple.
All the children that have been, the pop-up comes up and they can't read, so they click on it to get rid of the pop-up, and they just cost the parents some money.
The daylight.
Yeah, so Apple's paying back that. And also, I want to remind everybody, tomorrow we have Derek Zinkfield coming on, and you go like, well, who's Derek Zinkfield? Well, he's an agnostic living in a Christian world, and I've known this kid for a long time, and I've watched his little blogs that he puts out, and it started really scaring me, some of the things that he said, and I called him. I said, listen, I want to know what's going on with you. And he said, well, I'm an agnostic now. And I said, well, would you come on the show and explain to me what that is and how you got that way, and what, how you became to that belief or non-belief. And he said he'd love to. He'd love to do that. So tomorrow we're going to have him on and let him tell us how he got there.
Yeah. You mentioned in a Christian world.
Mm-hmm.
I question how much that is around here. I know in Europe it's almost non-existent, they say 5%. In the United States, I think it's waning somewhat, of course, in some instances.
Montgomery County. That's the way to go. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, I'm saying in his world, in his Christian world that that he's surrounded by.
Is it Z or S?
No, it's SINQU.
Oh my word!
Why did you ask me that?
Darren can't wait, young man. You'll be perfectly welcomed.
Derek was one of my students when he was young, and he learned sign language. Derek, and he learned sign language so fast that I saw him become this great interpreter.
Whoa! Do you think you had agnosticized him?
Do you think that could have been? I want to find that out. I'm the one that turned him. But also, I went and saw Nut Job. The Nut Job.
Now, what?
In
a minute.
We'll talk about it.
Nut Job.
Yes. And why is it that one ice cube always falls out when you're getting ice out of the ice thing?
We'll have the scientific answer in just a little while.
Okay. So, but first, the elephant in the room is the football games that happen. I'm sure you were glued to the tube, right?
I was, Cindy, but what I do is with DVR, I just fast forward through just about everything. But with Peyton Manning on the Broncos, when they're playing, you don't have time because this guy is on the line with the next play, and I've mentioned it before. I love to see him and hear him. Omaha, BB 17, green. And he's just terrific.
Well, you don't think any of them were smoking?
Oh, yeah. I think they all are.
For the game? You think so?
I think. No.
Celebrating?
I have no idea. But.
Well, Richard Sherman seemed very upset at the end of the...
Richard Sherman. And he plays for...
The Broncos.
Okay.
And he plays for the Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Seahawks.
Here's another story by Cindy.
The Seahawks.
Okay.
The Seahawks. Well, I'm trying to keep... There's like 2 games... like 2 games, 4 teams. It's just hard to keep those all to get together, and none of them were the Houston Texans.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, Richard Sherman came up and just was screaming with
defensive back.
This defensive back. The interviewer, this woman, comes up to him and puts the mic in his face just after they've gone through this. I mean, you know how I can imagine the energy and you're just so hyped up, and they say, so what do you think about the win? And he starts screaming about the guy
Crabtree, San Francisco.
Yeah, Crabtree, and some trash that they apparently were talking whenever he deflected what could have been the touchdown. I almost said home run. That would have been really funny.
That would have been something. Yeah.
But no, the touchdown. So he starts doing this, and I had the DVR, and I kept rewinding back to understand what he was saying. Apparently, a lot of people were not understanding what he said. So, but what he did talk about was that this guy was talking trash to him, and he said, "Don't you ever talk to me again. I'm better than you. I'm the best. I'm the best." And he tweeted it later. He wasn't taking anything back, and he didn't care what anybody thought. It's Richard's kind of man. But anyway, he was very upset, and that was really the most exciting thing, I thought. I know there were exciting games. I understand that, but I'm not that big of a football fan.
Well, the catches and the defense, pass defense, it is unbelievable how good these people are. I mean, just about not every, but I would say 60% of all the catches made, the guy who caught it had a defensive back on his back or in front of him or something. The ball was right there. Crabtree, I want to like the guy. He's talented as all get out. Wide receiver, unbelievable. But I remember he played for Texas Tech the year that the loss Texas had was against Texas Tech. The last play, I think it was the last play of the game, whatever quarterback that was, wasn't Dalton? No, it wasn't. Anyway, hit him on the sideline, and he made a touchdown in the last and beat Texas. And Texas Tech didn't have a chance to be number 1, but Texas did, and that I hate. But Crabtree did it.
The games were exciting because they weren't that far off all the way through.
Right.
They didn't give up after the first half like some teams we know. Yeah. Close. So it was a fun time.
Truth?
Now, did you record the first one?
Yes.
Like my son recorded the first one, and then they watched the second one live, so that.
Oh gosh, no! I record an hour of the first, an hour and a half, and then I start watching it so I can fast forward. And by the end of the game, I am right there at the end. I can't. When you, are
you a true football fan? If you do that?
I am so much because you can watch more football. Like during college, when college is playing, you got 4 games you want to watch. You tape them and then you fast forward through them. You watch it in 40 minutes. And
I see.
That's really good. But that's why I do miss out on so many things that are said, and there's no question about it. The personality of the player and where he came from and all. I miss out on that. But the playing itself. I mentioned that when I went to one game, and I don't know when, it was Dallas Cowboys playing Minnesota, and when you're watching it live in the flesh, the amount of time they're just standing there on the field because there's a commercial going on, they don't even have to call a timeout. Half the timeouts, or more than half, are the referees. Timeout for this broadcast. And the players are standing there, sitting down, or whatever on the field, and that is
you think that hurt their momentum?
Oh, it does, Cindy. It does.
It would hurt mine for sure. But I got to say one thing, and this is I know it's a stupid, feminine,
be very careful, Cindy, but okay.
Of this. But when did they change the uniform to those little cute cuff sleeves on them? Why did they do it? It's so feminine looking.
You mean the sleeve that goes up here?
Yeah. Well, see, it used to be down here, and now they're these little tight, and they're tight, and I mean, it shows off their guns. I understand that, but it just is not very attractive.
Well, it's
not a good look.
We know the reason. They have got the tightest jerseys. These linemen, for one thing, can't even put them on by themselves. And it's so people can't grab you. And if you're a running back and somebody can grab your sleeve or something, but if you make it tight,
right,
it's harder. Boy, in the olden days, people were getting tackled by jerseys and pants. Have you ever been tackled by your pants, Cindy?
Well,
don't answer that.
Yeah, no, but Joe Namath and everybody was all like, "Wow, those are tight-fitting pants." And then they all started getting that way. But the sleeves are just, it's a bad look. I think
You're
they
right.
need to come up
The
with
look
something
is
else.
bad.
I just had to say
here
that.
you got basketball, and their pants are really big, and then in the in football, they're too tight.
Yes.
Somewhere they need to meld the two sports.
A new
together.
fashion
It's
person.
it's fashion. Look at basketball 20 years ago. Those shorts were tight and really short.
Yeah, but back
those were-
then they were acceptable. They didn't look, homosexual.
Are you sure that? I mean, today I would be a little weary about it.
Oh, if you wore them now.
Yeah.
Yes, no kidding. It is the culture now that is,
Right.
no, you can't do it. It'll come back. All
You
it
think
takes
so?
is one great basketball player to do it, and everybody's like, oh, wow, tight pants. I'll do
Right.
it.
Well, that's just a little fashion thing I thought I would bring up. Okay, so.
Can I bring up something that's real important to me?
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Oh, is this more football? Go ahead.
No. We're through with football. We're
Holy
done.
smokes. I was going to say this. Cindy, I can't find my phone. Did I leave it here? I've been calling it, and it just says the person who owns this phone. Anyway, there's no
When
messages
did you
or
lose
something.
it?
Over the weekend, I thought. I mean,
Okay, give everybody your phone number. And
okay, my
we'll-
phone number
everybody
is
start calling.
well, and that's my problem. It doesn't. Apparently, the battery's
Sure.
down, or somebody's got it and they've already transferred it into something. But
Can you ping it?
I don't know what that means. But if I could find it, I could probably ping it, Cindy. But I can't find it. That is the point I'm trying to make.
No, is yours one of those where you open it up like the Beam Me Up, Scotty?
Cindy,
It's not
mine
that.
is the size of a brick.
okay.
It is what? No, it's not. But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do any internet things. And
Oh, you don't have internet on it?
no. And in the front of it, where you used to be able, when somebody called, you could see the number, but I dropped it and it's cracked.
Then why do you want this phone back? You now have an excuse to go get a newer phone.
You haven't determined what he's really doing. This is so easy. He
for his
subconsciously
insurance
he
loss?
lost it,
Oh,
but he just wants a new phone.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Subconsciously.
I'm afraid of the new phones because then I'll have to know stuff, and if I get a new phone, I don't even know how to tell the telephone people that I've got a new phone. I'm scared, Cindy, is what I am.
well, I think you should do it. I think, and
Okay.
you'll keep the same number.
Okay.
You can keep the same number. And
you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
And they will. Well, I don't know, since you don't have anything in storage that they can. I don't think you can find anything from that number.
Maybe
can
you
they?
should just give him a walkie-talkie.
That now you're cooking.
Boy,
Just
that
have
is
a
true.
select group
That
of
is-
people I
Kay,
can talk to
only
within
Kay can
200
contact
yards.
you.
Hello, Kay.
Can you imagine, Kay, though? Everyone's calling her. Like, hey, can you put the walkie-talkie up to the phone so I can talk to Mark real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I get so many calls.
Oh, back to
Anyway,
smoke
that was
signals.
just my own personal thing.
I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to share with it.
That is so aggravating, though.
interrupted.
Everybody can relate to that.
Oh, man.
As well as why Eric, our friend Eric, that works at the Red Brick. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Great burgers.
The best. I wish I'd never tasted that. It just
I
makes
know.
me so mad because
I
now
know.
I can't afford it. I'm going to get another job and so I can go down there and eat those burgers. They're so good. Okay, so anyway, why does one ice cube always fall out of the tray when you're trying to get ice? One always falls out. I mean, everybody's done this, but they thought it was only them. They thought they were the only ones that did this. Let's talk about that when we come back from this break.
Well,
And-
it's no exaggeration. Let me say that, and we'll talk about the exaggeration in a minute. I thought we had more than 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. So,
Mark and Cindy Show, and we'll be back in just a second with one of the most fascinating topics, the ice jumping out of your hand. Hey, 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 hey!
Won't you come see about me? I'll be alone, dancing.
Hi, this is Erica Tullis, Executive Director of the Breast Cancer Charities of America. The Breast Cancer Charities of America is a national nonprofit organization with our headquarters in the Woodlands, Texas. We focus on non-invasive breast cancer research and helping the true patient that is going through breast cancer. Through our Help Now Fund, we help women pay the rent and utilities while going through their breast cancer treatment. It's unlike any other program that truly is out there. We are here to help the woman. Our phone number is 936-231-8460. For more information or to get involved or to even make a donation, please visit our website, www.igopink.org.
Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas.
Tired of Waylon, Willie, and the boys? Join me, Gordon Lockhart, for Beethoven, Bach, and the Boys. Every Saturday from 8 to midnight on Lone Star Classical Music After Dark. Symphonies, concertos, and sonatas by composers such as Mozart, Tchaikovsky, and Bernstein. That's Lone Star Classical Music After Dark. Every Saturday from 8 to midnight on irlonestar.com.
What on earth is going on around here? Cindy, what is going on? I'm sorry, I scared the daylights out of her. I think I wet myself. But I'm okay now.
Yes, you are listening to the Mark and Cindy Show. Okay, I'm going to come back together. Okay, I've got it together. All right. Anyway, Sam has always complained. Since I've known him, he complained about every time he'd try and get ice, one ice cube would drop down on the floor. And I thought, that's funny. That happened to me when I was growing up. I'd try and get the ice and something would drop down the floor. And so I thought, though, that was just a coincidence. That was weird. We went over to your house, and I was filming at your house, doing the, whenever Kay was doing the recipe.
Cooking thing? Yeah.
And you got some ice out, and one fell off. You said, why is it always one ice cube falls out? And I thought, that's weird. That happens to us too. The other night, Samuel went in and got some ice, fell out.
That's
the ice cube fell. Yeah, and he's 9 years old, and he goes, why is it that always one ice cube always falls out? So I started thinking, does this happen to everybody? Is this a phenomenon that happens to everybody? Richard's going to say, no, it's never happened to him. I know it. Don't even ask him. He'll say it never happened.
It does.
I think it happens to everyone who doesn't have the dispenser. Our dispenser's broken, so I've got to reach in. But Cindy, it not only happens, I think, to everyone, but it happens every time.
Every time.
The other day,
and you think you'd learn? Just get a couple. Don't try and get 5 pieces of ice.
It's like popcorn at the movie theater. Oh my word! What? Oh boy! But in the ice, I'm not joking. If it's going well, I don't like to say, "Whoa, I'm doing perfect." And I was getting ready to tell Kay, "I've done it. I complete," because I got these 2 in, and I was holding 2 handfuls, and I was going for the third one, and plop,
there it went. See,
I can't. That
so are you talking about manually putting ice into your cup, or are you talking about using the cup?
Old school.
Ours is broken.
Old school. Manually reaching in, grabbing the ice, an ice cube will fall out.
You know, when you have
that never happens to me.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about the dispenser.
Oh, no.
And usually, it even happens with a dispenser. It does.
Mine's it's always like a delayed thing. Like you get your ice, like, oh, that's great. I'm gonna get my soda, and then you turn around, all of a sudden you're gung, 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 and then it spits out the last one.
So I think it's something with the refrigerators that feel like we'll make them.
Well,
work
ice is pretty slippery.
It's a slippery slope, but we're going down. Okay, all right. And Mark has a question. And Mark, go.
Well, it's actually a comment, and it's scary. And I'm not making this up. You know, you got the ice dispenser, which ours doesn't work, and then you've got the water next to it.
Right.
And I kid you not, this is what happened one day. Actually, it was at night. I was sitting there at the table writing on something, and all of a sudden I hear it dripping, and it's usually the ice maker thing dripping. And I just kept working, and all of a sudden I looked over there, it kept going. My water dispenser just automatically came on and was just pouring water on the floor. My first thought was this. Well, first, I've got to go clean that up. The other is, what if I'd been on vacation all of a sudden my water just boom? How does that happen? Was there poltergeist, sometimes called poltergeist, in the house doing this? I don't know, but it was
strange.
So people, please don't take your ice, your water dispenser for granted, because it's there and things can happen.
Well, try and challenge yourself in just getting 2 pieces of ice and making it where it doesn't happen. But I would like, if people want to Facebook me or call or something, but let me know, does this happen to everybody? Is this just everybody this happens to? Now, here's another thing that I thought, and Sam only thought happened to him, and he's complained about it forever, is that I don't put the tops back on the. Now, I do. I'm better now, that I'm 65 years old.
good.
But yeah, I wouldn't put the tops back on, like the toothpaste, or I take, get some cream out of a jar, or I take the pickles, but I wouldn't put the top back on it. And it drove him crazy. So now Samantha does this exact same thing, and it drives him crazy. Of course, the kids do the same thing. But he thinks he's all alone in being able to put the tops back on. Well, the actor from Fargo, I can't remember his name, the guy that was in Fargo.
William Macy?
Yes.
Oh, what a great actor.
He
yes.
was on the
Carol Burnett
Michael
show.
Michael and Kelly and Michael show.
Okay.
And they were talking to him about, he's married now and he has 2 daughters, and he said, what's it like, being the only guy in the house? And he said, here's the deal. This is what I truly believe, is that it is genetic in women where they cannot put the tops back on things. And Sam heard that and just went like, I thought that was so funny, because he said, maybe it's not only you. And I said, yes, and it may be genetic and I can't help it. So let's think about that part of it. But has Kay ever done that? Or is
Cindy,
it you?
I love Kay dearly, of course, but it is unbelievable. Cereal in the morning. There's her bowl. She pours the cereal, sets it down, and goes eats. And if Mark, her wonderful husband, doesn't move that cereal box, it'll be there next January.
Really?
It's anything she opens, and it's not so much lids of stuff, but it's anything she opens, she does not put it away. And I'm sorry, darling, she's not listening. So,
that's
but
right.
that is one of those fox paws.
That's funny.
Speaking of fox paws, we're going to continue this, but Cindy, something just hit me.
Squirrel
Did
moment,
you
squirrel
see
moment.
the YouTube? The what does the fox say? Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. It shows this group of guys in, I think it's their boxer underwear. No shirts. Some of them had shirts, but they're standing there, 6 of them, waiting at the door. They've ordered a pizza, and the pizza guy knocks on the door. One guy opens it up, and they instantly start playing, what does the fox? And they're all dancing in unison to something, and there is this pizza delivery guy looking at them like you're idiots, and all of a sudden, he puts his pizza down, and he starts doing the same thing.
And what was the commercial for? Do you remember?
No, it's not a commercial. It's these guys taped. In other words, they put a camera up and they kept waiting for the.
Okay.
And this guy, you're thinking, he's going crazy. He's going to run, but he put the box down and he started gyrating with them. It was wonderful.
Well, that song has been on everything. But Happy. Remember when I had him play Happy here? From
yes.
Pharrell. That song is being played with everything. See, and you said, that sounds like everybody else's, but it is so popular right now. Wow. So you heard it first on Mark.
So what I did is
I
just delved in and took us away from ice and from women putting lids on things and it is definitely genetic. I think I don't know how else to explain it.
Now we have a Facebook. The Mark and Cindy Show, Facebook. You can go on there, and we have no criteria about who gets on. Everybody's our friend, right? Everybody's our friend.
Just say it.
And you can tell us, is this true or not? Is this something that you've experienced? Is this a national, worldwide thing or what? Please let us know.
And it goes against everything that's true and just, but you can call us here.
It's
936-647-3776 and tell us about your exploits with respect to putting lids on things.
Do not let Mark intimidate you.
No.
So Mark, what I did this weekend, because I know you were dying to know.
Oh, yeah.
I went and saw
your toenails. I know that. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go.
There you
Let
go.
me
That
go.
was pretty
Stop me
exciting.
right in my tracks. The Nut Job. Speaking of the Nut Job, and Samuel and Cindy. This is a cartoon.
Oh, it's animated thing.
It's animated. It is so good. It is so good. Now Frozen, yeah, but the Nut Job is so good because it's like Despicable Me. I think it looks like the same type of the people that did Despicable Me. And it is good. So take your grandchildren and your children, and you will enjoy it. You will enjoy it as much. So
take the children. By the way, Cindy, that was the third most seen movie made the third most money. The Nut Job. First was
Right Along.
Ice
Cube.
With Ice Cube. And Lone Survivor was 2. Nut Job. Then Jack Ryan, which I saw. And
Don't you tell me anything
won't.
about it. Just tell me if
Suspenseful as all get out.
Oh,
It
yay!
was just
I can't
seat of
wait
your
to
pants.
see that.
Frozen, the one you mentioned that wasn't
Yeah,
any
it
good.
was-
That's 5. American Hustle, Devil's Due. What Devil's Due? Anybody?
Oh my word! Did you see the video of Devil's Due, Richard, on YouTube? It was like one of the top played one.
Is that the little baby?
Yeah. Did you see the face of the baby? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see what they were doing in New
Yes,
York?
yes.
They were
Tell us.
promoting the movie Devil's Due, and they had this devil-looking type of baby laying in a carriage, and the carriage was remotely being moved about the city down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden people would come over like to try and stop it, or like, what's going on? And this baby pops up and makes this horrible scream, like the Exorcist type scream, and it turns its head around and looks at everybody, and it's got these horrible red eyes. All you have to do is go on YouTube, and it's right there, The Devil's Due. But to watch the people come up, New York deserves it. It just,
somebody.
it was-
Cindy, I would have fallen backwards, busted my skull.
I'm surprised
At
they didn't
first,
have
the carriage isn't even moving, but you can hear the baby, and you see people looking around.
There's
something
nobody
wrong.
standing by
and
it?
they come and they take the cover, and then this demon child springs out. I would have.
I'm sorry, I
died
should not
on
laugh,
the
but it
scene.
was a good promotion. It was
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
a
no-
smart way to.
no kidding.
I like
promote
the janitor guy.
I can't remember what he did.
Was he brooming something or he's cleaning up something?
yeah.
And then he just looks at it. He's like, okay.
Oh yeah, it didn't even bother him. It was like, this is New York. What do you think? What do you expect? It's going to happen like this all the time. I don't care.
Sheesh.
And so the movie that I want to see Lone Survivor, and my daughter-in-law and my son saw it, and they was just thought it was great. It was really
I
good.
don't see why though. You already know what's gonna happen.
There's a lot of shows you go see. I saw Abraham Lincoln, and I
Oh
knew
my
it was gonna
gosh,
happen.
Cindy! Don't tell me the end of that, please.
But like those movies like Jack Ryan, I love those kind of things. Born Identity, all
Oh,
that.
yeah, me
That
too.
whole series, I love that stuff.
In fact,
so
that's
I'm excited.
the thing. Matt Damon in playing Jack Ryan would have been great. This guy, Captain Kirk, did really.
He
good.
did. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And what's his face that played with him? Who was his?
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner's in another one that said 3 Days to
He
Kill.
is?
That I think it's 3 Days to Kill. Or
They showed
something.
previews. Two
Yeah.
of them, Kevin Costner was in. He's made this, and he's coming out with 2 other things.
Him and Mark Wahlberg. Wahlberg must
Gosh,
work every day
Isn't
of
that
the year
truth?
on a movie.
Work until you can't.
Wow,
And
I'm
I
excited.
feel sorry for, speaking of women, for the fact that they can't close lids and stuff, but also there is an age at which women do have so much more trouble getting roles because people like Kevin Costner and all of this, they are usually in a movie with some very young person, Richard Gere. And so anybody their age, no, you can't play that. You can play the grandmother. You
Right.
can play whatever. And boy,
So
women get
unfair.
it. It is unfair.
So
It's very
unfair.
sad.
And but the men that keep trying to play those parts and start and keep doing the facelifts where their eyes are like that, and they can never close their eyes again. But those people, give it up and play the grandfather. It's okay. Robert Redford was a
Oh,
beautiful,
bless his
amazing
heart.
guy.
He was unbelievably great.
But
yes,
how do you want to remember him? How do you want to be remembered? Just like.
that is,
But those people that write columns and do things like that, and that's how you want to be remembered. Here's the picture, my best picture. I'm putting this up, and now we have Facebook, which everybody's seeing your decline or incline or whatever in weight and looks, and it's funny because you start out with the Facebook picture, maybe your whole face, and then it gets down to where it's eyeball. You see people
Right.
just that's it. You see mine.
I've auditioned for many roles, and I'm at the age now where what are you going to get me to do other than some commercial where I'm definitely degraded and everything, and I see these people in these commercials and playing extras in movies, and you realize, this person's going to be known. That's their number one acting thing. They were in this laxative commercial or feminine product commercial or whatever, and I just think, oh, bless your heart. But if it paid enough, I wouldn't turn very much down, except erectile dysfunction. I don't like to say, give me a break.
Well, that's good. You have some
I have
level.
limitations. That's
the bar.
Beer
Okay.
drinking son of a gun. I don't think I could pull that off.
Well, I'm proud of you. You're listening to the Mark and Cindy Show,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's us.
we're here every single day.
I can't
well,
believe it either.
Monday through Thursday we're live, and then we're partially live on Fridays. But the best of on Fridays. But you can always get us on YouTube. We are now on YouTube, and you can see the show being done.
Unbelievable.
If you may want to go back.
Cindy looks so good.
Oh,
too.
yeah,
You need to
right.
look at
You're
this
right.
girl.
They've got this. Well, we'll talk about when we come back. I want to
Okay.
talk about how we're shooting this. Be right back. Mark and Cindy's show on Lone Star Internet Radio.
Conroe Live is a nonprofit entity whose purpose is for the enhancement of the arts, entertainment, and historical values in historic downtown Conroe. Recent programs include centennial celebrations for several buildings reconstructed after the Great Fire of 1911, the upcoming Historicade celebrating the history of downtown area, an art bench program consisting of 13 art benches depicting history, Chalk Up Conroe, a program benefiting cancer programs using sidewalk chalk, a tree planting program along the railroad tracks along the historical areas in the downtown, and generation of approximately $250,000 for the Owen Theater for improvements. Future projects include downtown historical markers, a pedestrian mall on Simonton Street, walking history programs, and more. For information, visit their website at www.conroelivinc.org.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
And you're back listening to the Mark and Cindy show. And Mark just can't get that music.
Cindy, have you been wearing those glasses the whole time of the show?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I just
good.
I just put them on.
All right. Because I thought I was going crazy there for a minute.
Okay, so, you know, thing about being 65 and then you go to a break and it's only 2 minutes long. What did I say I was going to talk about when I got back?
Okay, you were going to talk about marsupials on Madagascar that are being eradicated by several of the dingoes that came from Australia.
I think I almost had it, and then you said that.
That's
Great. Okay, so all right, I'm like, what was I was going to talk about? All right, wait. Let me just say, he just showed us this. What's it called? Tupelo honey. This bottle is so exotic looking. It's just amazing, and it's very expensive. And he wanted us to taste it. I couldn't taste it, and here's the reason why.
Okay.
Because my mother believed that if, you know, throwing up was everything. If you threw up, you would feel better about what if you got sick, no matter what it was,
Hurts
a
like heck,
hangnail
but yeah.
or, you know, sty in your eye, throw up and you'll feel better. So she would give us a big tablespoon of honey and alum. You remember what alum
That
is?
makes you throw up without the honey.
Well, with the honey, she put the alum in there and ruined me for honey forever. It worked. It was very effective. I mean, like immediately. But so I can't smell it. I can't taste it. It's terrible because I'm sure it tastes really good.
I'm the same way with vanilla. What happened to me is when I was in high school, Cindy, and this is to help you remember. Me and a friend of mine, I bought a vanilla shake, and we bought a dozen donuts. I ate half a dozen donuts and a vanilla shake, and I got so sick. And the thing that stayed with me was the vanilla for some reason. Not the donuts.
Yeah.
I can deal with it.
Good. That's good.
But vanilla. Ooh, just don't smell this. No. Anyway,
Oh man,
it's
that's
just frightening.
That's bad. We were talking about celebrities
Oh yeah.
earlier, and a celebrity here in Houston, not here because we're in Conroe, but
Wayne Dolcepino's.
no, it's not. Oh no, it's not him. It is Jim McIngvale, Mattress Mac,
Mattress Mac.
better
yeah.
known as Mattress Mac. Poor thing. I bet he goes out everywhere and they say, "You're Mattress Mac."
Mattress Mac,
I
yeah.
know you. When he first came to Houston, and he spent $3 million on advertising, and that was like unheard of here. And they were everybody loved him. And he said he spent $3 million, made 30 on the 3 he spent, and that's how he did business. He came from Dallas, and he was on an interview with Michael Berry on one of the competitor radio stations. And I was listening to him, and it was really interesting because I remember when he first came on, and everybody thought, what an idiot he was. Like, he's jump up and down, and these cheap commercials. And he was the hardest negotiator sales execs, people from radio stations and from TV stations had to deal with. And he would have them all line up. He only saw them one day. I'm not going to see, you're not going to come in my office and all that. And he'd line them up, and they would go in one at a time, and then he'd negotiate the deal with them. And Channel 26 at that time was playing most of them because he could get the best deal, and they would shoot it and do, and give him so many commercials. And he said that it was amazing how fast, his business grew and all, and the more money that he made, people kept wanting him to do other things. So he decided he would get into the movie business. And do you remember the movie Sidekicks?
Yeah.
That he did. That was his movie that he produced.
I didn't know that.
And so he, I'd read an article at the time that when he did this, he could not believe the waste of money in movies. He went over there and watched, and this craft services was, which he, signed off on. He didn't know what all they spent the money on, but he couldn't believe what they were eating. And he said, I ever do a movie again, this is going to be peanut butter and jelly. That's it. I don't know what they think, who they think they are, and why they think they are so special to be able to eat like that. So, and he couldn't believe how much they made and all that. So that was the last movie he did. He said, I'd never do anything like that again. So he learned that being distracted from the one good thing he knew how to do, and that was sell furniture, and that was it. And all these other side venues, he said, is what I tell people that are entrepreneurs. Don't get distracted by the money you're making and try and do a lot of other things. Do what you're good at and stay with that. And he said, and that's what Steve Jobs did. He said that when you do a commercial, don't put so many things in it. Just do one thing in that commercial so people will remember what it is that you talked about. And that was it. And that was it. So he was a big fan of Steve Jobs.
Cindy, I did something during that your discussion there of Machiavelli that I do a
Jim
lot,
McIngvale.
and it's scary. You said Sidekicks, and I said, oh yeah, I don't remember Sidekicks. Who was in that?
That kid that was real popular at the time right here. He was real. All the teenagers loved him.
Oh,
and then the guy that's the karate guy that has the red beard and that does the. He's on all the infomercials. That was the karate guy.
This is like I'm
Richard,
at
I
home
know.
with the brothers.
Yes.
We're trying to come up with the
trying to
name of
remember.
somebody. The guy that used to be popular. Oh, yeah. I got him.
What is his name? It's going to drive me crazy.
Keep describing.
The karate guy. He's the karate guy.
And Karate Kid?
No. This is he has red hair. He's
Chuck Norris?
Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris was the teacher of this young kid in Sidekicks. And they had the competition. It was kind of like the Karate Kid type of thing, and he had to compete. But anyway, that's what he said. He said that movies were a big waste of money for him. Yes,
Speaking
go
of
ahead,
movies,
and you can go.
The title of movies means so much. Like Sidekicks, I don't remember anything, but I saw on the Turner movie channel tonight, that's old movies.
That's all I watch.
Turner Classic Movies.
Well, this is
TCM.
TMC.
Yeah, Turner Classic Movies.
TMC.
Turner
Nice.
Movie Classic.
No, it's TCM. Turner Classic
Well, whatever
Movies.
I saw, I thought it said TMC. There is a TCM and there's a TMC. One of them is classic. But this name of this movie, and I'm so sorry, you know how we can get in a controversy over anything out of anybody's mouth. But here's the name of the movie, and isn't it wonderful? Who wouldn't want to see a movie called The World, the Flesh, and the Devil? Whoa! I've
That was
never
the
heard
name
of
of the
it.
movie?
That's the name of the movie, and it's on tonight on the Turner Movie Classic.
It's 1950s?
Or Turner Classic Movie. I meant to check, but it didn't
the
say
year?
in the newspaper. But anyway, speaking of the flesh and your worlds and your devils, Downton Abbey. Does anybody out there watch it? Nobody here. I just want to say this because we do have listeners. 6 listeners out there watch the Downton Abbey thing, and
What
I'm
is
getting
that?
sick of. Oh, it's the big castle in England where this family lives. It's right after World War One. They're all the British, and you should identify with them very well, I think, because you've got the British accent going well. Anyway, and they've got so much. Like one of the maids got raped, and I don't like that. And she can't tell her husband because she's afraid he'll kill the person.
Well, I hope you don't think we're
going
to resolve this on our show.
I don't like that much tension in a show. But get this, Cindy.
What?
You know Cumberbatch, the guy that was the voice of the dragon in The Hobbit, and he's been in so many things. He's also Sherlock Holmes on Masterpiece Theater.
No.
Sherlock Holmes is back 3 episodes. It is supposed to be wonderful, and it was on last night, and I taped it. I can't wait. So many things. But,
Boy,
you know,
okay.
if you go...
That's yours.
That's mine. I was going to say this. You know, if you go and look at all the TVs and movies... Oh, we got 3 minutes. There are so many vampires, zombies, and vampires and werewolves. And I wanted to say this just for a few people out there. Volunteers. They need volunteers at Missouri City for zombie impersonators. They're doing a disaster preparation training. I'm not joking. And they're going to make it with... like zombies
Yeah.
came in. So
That's
let's prepare for
awesome.
this. That is so stupid.
now how do they find it?
No.
How do they find where to go? Where they're supposed to go?
Oh,
Is there
it's
a-
Missouri City. I don't know. Anywhere in Missouri City and
Ask
look
them
like
about
a
the
zombie,
zombie
and they'll
and-
drag your buns over to where
to
they're shooting it.
that to that place.
Okay, I'm through dancing.
Okay. What's coming up next after us? But we're not through yet.
Oh, no,
At
we're
11
not through.
o'clock. 11 o'clock is Rick Schistler is going to be on the air, and
Business hour?
yes, the
can't
weekly
wait.
business hour is going to be on.
I hope he has that pizza guy on again.
No, because now he has someone that has a
go-kart.
fitness center for 40 plus. Is that right?
Yes, Rick Simmons of Plus 40 Fitness Studio, and he's the publisher of Plus 40 Fitness and Health magazine.
Not Richard Simmons.
I know his
Rick.
cousin,
R.I.C..
Richard Simmons.
That's right.
You know, Cindy, I
That's
saw
awesome.
a guy. You remember the Christmas parade out there?
Yes,
There
yes.
was this guy, martial arts trainer kid, and I said, we'll have him on the show. He gave me his card, and I forgot to call him. Anyway, he might tell us something.
He should have known. Don't
exactly.
do that. Don't
is
do
this man?
that.
He was
But
interested, though.
But he is coming up, and so you got to sit there and listen. I want this guy on our show because I want to know how do you differentiate the
40-year-old?
40 plus. Since I'm 40 plus, are you 40 plus? You're 40 plus.
Oh, yeah, barely.
Did you just-
64.
What was that? Okay.
Well, I was
anyway,
just-
What do you mean differentiate? I don't understand.
between how you exercise or make
a
someone fit
40-year-old.
for 20 and then 40. What do you
know,
do differently?
when you're
for
A
that
lot.
person?
our
Yeah,
age, like
lot.
75 or something, like I'm
Yeah.
64, all you need to do is take some of that honey and give them a feather. Put honey on their fingers. Okay, here's your exercise. Get the feather off your honey. And after,
There you go.
about an
That's
hour,
it.
you're see,
I
your
love it. Sit and get fit. Okay.
Encouraging word when we come back
That's
on the
right.
Mark and Cindy Show
That's
and
right.
a rehash of what's coming up.
It's
this week.
Monday.
Hey, hey, hey.
Don't
SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County is a 501c3, all-volunteer-based rescue and adoption organization with a no-kill policy for healthy and adoptable animals. Our name states what we believe: Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. People eliminate the suffering. Spay, neuter, adopt, please. We rescue abandoned, abused, or homeless animals, do whatever is needed to make them healthy and happy, and then we find them loving forever homes. We envision a county where every companion animal finds a permanent and compassionate home, where communities are enriched by the special bond between people and animals, where cruelty no longer exists, and where every home practices responsible pet ownership. You can contact us at www.spcaofmc.com. The SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County encourages you to think adoption first.
Tune in at 3 o'clock every Wednesday for Aperture and Shutter Speed with me, Tom Moore of TR Moore Photos.
And me, Dick.
If you are an amateur or expert, or if you haven't ever picked up an SLR camera before, Aperture and Shutter Speed is a show for anyone who loves photography and film.
Join the conversation with us by calling in or emailing us your questions. If you want to know what's coming up on Aperture and Shutter Speed, just look up our show page on irlonestar.com or look us up on Facebook.
Join us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. for Aperture and Shutter Speed, and remember,
Take your lens cap off.
And you're back on the Mark and Cindy Show. And always at the end of the show, we like to leave you with encouragement, an encouraging word that Mark usually hands out to us.
Because we get so negative during the show, and we
Not
have
me.
so many arguments.
It's Mark.
And what you call your fisticuffs. But, you know, I was... today is, as you know, the Martin Luther King's, I believe it's his birthday. I think he was killed in March, if I'm not mistaken. But I have a quote here. You know, he's known for, I may not get there. I've been to the mountain. I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land. Here's a quote from him that, you don't hear much. I mean, he was a preacher and he had many, many sermons, but I ran across this one today, and I really like it. I want to leave us with these thoughts surrounding this. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." One reason when Christ came that so many Jews couldn't say he's the Messiah, because he came with a heart of love. He was a carpenter, son of a carpenter, and he was a carpenter himself. And he washed his apostles' feet, and he kept telling them, serve. That's the thing. And, the Jews were looking for the guy that's going to make Jerusalem the, whatever. They were looking for something different. This here, the grace and the love is important. When you think of grace, when I was growing up, what is grace? Unmerited favor. One of the greatest examples of grace, the definition, is from the movie Unforgiven. It's a Western with Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman, and I don't know how many recall, but Gene Hackman has just been shot by Clint Eastwood. He's laying on the bar floor, but he's still alive, and Eastwood comes over, William Money, with a Sharps rifle and points it at him, and he's getting ready to shoot him right in the face, and Gene Hackman says, "I don't deserve this. I was building a house." And Clint Eastwood says, the definition of grace, "This has nothing to do with deserve," and then shoots him. Grace has nothing to do with deserving it. Clint Eastwood used it as an example of, hey, you don't deserve to get your head blown off, but I'm getting ready to. God says, you don't deserve the grace. It's a gift. All you have to do, Mark, is take it. Unmerited favor. It's not compassion's not a synonym, but when God showers us with grace, Mark should be more compassionate with others and consider that also. And you can't do it unless you have love for people. And in my case, too often, Cindy, I tolerate a lot of people, and I haven't come around to being someone who loves. Martin Luther King, we're not going to, a controversial situation, but when he gave his speech about, I may not get there with you, he had threats from everyone. He was calling for a march on Washington for jobs and for poverty, and he had just come out against Vietnam. The FBI said, don't do it, and he was going to do it anyway, and they said, we cannot assure your safety. That was a way of saying, if you go there...
Right.
And he was shot before that. He was shot in Memphis at a labor union dispute, the garbage workers. And that's when he gave the speech the day before he was shot, 2 days before he was shot. And he says, how may I get there with you? He knew these threats. He knew everything.
Right.
And yet he still preached nonviolence. Don't do this. That is grace.
That's
That
right.
is wonderful. It's something I need to be a very controversial figure. I realize that, his background and all, but a message that I think should resonate with all of us, perhaps.
I remember a preacher was doing a story on grace, and one time and he said, it's like I was driving down the freeway and the person wanted to get on, and I could have just kept on going or let him on. So I picked my hand up and just did that, and the person came on, and that was grace because I didn't have to do that. I did that, and they said, and then I had to work on myself because how empowering that was. Is that I'm the one that's going to let you on. I don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so I always thought about that now, and I can't go without letting somebody on. And you see them trying to get around the side and working their way on the lane they're not supposed to be on so they can get ahead of everybody, and then they get stuck. And then you've got to make a decision. Are you going to let this guy who's been trying to cheat everybody else, or are you going to let him on, or what are you going to do? And so those little things that come up to you in traffic, especially in traffic, where you have a feeling of
that's the worst.
I'm going to. And listen, and teaching sign language, I realize how limited everybody's vocabulary is in sign language in traffic, so that we need to expand that vocabulary of what to do with their hand.
Cindy, when we get on cable and everything and we get more, you need to do a sign language thing. I was watching another sign language.
You can do I love you,
deal.
and
You're
now
great.
we can do I love you, and all the deaf people.
One thing very... I don't know what it is, but tomorrow when we have Derek Sinkfeld, you're going to do the encouraging word, and we will have an agnostic here. And
talk about how not believing that there really is a God,
but
or what he
I'm
feels.
sure he'll say it's a sweet thing, it's a nice thing, but...
It's gonna be interesting. We've never done this before, and hear his side of it. But remember, you've got the weekly business hour coming up. And with Rick Shishler, and how to get fit after 40. That's going to be
impossible.
You
Don't even think about it.
We can do it. The Mark and Cindy Show. We will be
here's
back. Wave
my
everybody at
favorite
YouTube.
song.
All on YouTube. Yeah, here it comes. Here it comes.
Well, it's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show. Every day I listen in. We're gonna talk about what's going on in town, you never know.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.